I was drawing a portrait of a girl on the side of the road when my pencil suddenly snapped in the middle of the drawing. I searched through my pencils, but I couldn't find one that felt right. Finally, I found a single pencil lying by itself and decided to finish the drawing with it. To test whether it worked well, I casually sketched something on another sheet of paper. The next second, the drawing actually came to life. I was completely stunned. To make sure I wasn't seeing things, I drew an apple. To my surprise, it turned into a real apple and fell right onto the ground. Out of curiosity, I picked it up and took a bite. It tasted exactly like a real apple. I stuffed the rest into my pocket and hurried to find my friend, so I could tell him everything. I pulled out the half-eaten apple and told him I had drawn it myself, and that it had actually turned into a real object. But as usual, he didn't believe me. He even told me to go have my head examined. To prove I wasn't lying, he asked me to draw a gold bar. I did exactly that, but to my surprise, the gold bar didn't become real right away. Seeing that, my friend laughed at me and threw the drawing out the window. Just then, we heard an old man downstairs let out a painful scream. The paper had hit him on the head. Furious, he yelled up at us, demanding to know who had thrown a brick out the window. But when he looked down, he realized he was holding a heavy gold bar instead. Without saying a word, he quietly slipped it into his pocket and walked away as if nothing had happened. Only then did my friend finally believe everything was real. He immediately told me to draw an even bigger gold bar. Before long, the gold in the drawing became a real solid gold bar. We were both so shocked that neither of us could say a word. Then my friend said we also needed cash. He snatched the pencil from my hand and wrote down a string of numbers, 200 million. But no matter how many times he wrote it, the numbers stayed nothing more than numbers. I took the pencil back and skillfully drew stacks of cash instead. The next second, piles of real money appeared out of thin air. More and more cash kept pouring out until the entire room was completely buried under stacks of bills, and my friend and I were trapped underneath them. Just then, the landlord came over, angrily complaining that we had dumped a pile of trash outside. He was about to drag me out for a scolding, but the very next second, my friend and I walked out dressed like wealthy millionaires. Then, I pulled out a huge stack of cash and told everyone in the building that there was enough money to pay the rent for the next 100 years. The landlord froze in disbelief, and before long, everyone in the building was smiling and thanking us. Later, we began using the magic pencil to build homes for people in poor neighborhoods. It wasn't long before our story spread throughout the entire city, and posters of us were everywhere. We went from struggling just to survive to living like royalty. Our lives had been completely transformed. Even then, we never used the magic pencil to satisfy our own selfish desires. We only used it to do good and help people who truly needed it. So, if you had a magic pencil like this, what would be the first thing you'd draw?